Thanks for tuning in to listener-supported freeform radio from Centenary College, 91.9 WNTI Hackettstown.
Okay, we're back. My name's Greg. The show's Rocket Science. I'm sitting in for Paula Dyer this week. Wild Woman Never Sing the Blues, the name of her show. In about 10 minutes or so, I'm expecting a phone call from Kim Simmonds of Savoy Brown. We'll be talking about his new release and much more, I hope. But until then, we'll start listening to Savoy Brown's new release on Blind Pig Records, due out February 4th, a week from today. And, well, where else to start but the first track. This is When It Rains, Savoy Brown from their upcoming release, Strange Dream.
You left me, baby, and I know the reasons why. The sun was shining when you said goodbye. Every time fair weather comes around, I look for you and you're nowhere to be found. But when it rains, oh when it rains, oh when it rains, you'll come running back again. I don't know if I can take any more. The sun shines, you walk out the door. You can't go on doing me this way, leaving me alone on a blue sky day. But when it rains, oh when it rains, oh when it rains, you'll come running back again. Shining when you said goodbye. Every time the fair weather comes around, I look for you, you're nowhere to be found. But when it rains, when it rains, oh when it rains, you'll come running back again. Now when it rains, you'll come running back again. Come running back again. When it rains, when it rains, when it rains, when it rains. Without trying at all. You can own a big house, shop every day at the mall. But it don't matter, baby, what you got to show. You can't take it with you when you go. Fine clothes, be in the latest trend. as your friend. But it don't matter, baby, who you know. You can't take it with you when you go.
That you can't keep her long. She'll come running home back where she belongs. That feels so soft. Hey, hey, I said you know that they feel so soft. And you promised me, so baby please don't cut me off. Got me a meat shaking woman, the meat is shaking on her bones. Hey, hey, I said the meat is shaking on her bones.
every time she shakes, some man really knows.
We just heard 3 from the new release, Savoy Brown, Strange Dream. That was Meat Shaking Woman. Before that, Can't Take It With You, and When It Rains. And it's a privilege and an honor to have the founder of Savoy Brown, Kim Simmonds, on the phone with us. Hello, Kim.
Hello, I can hardly hear you though.
Okay. How's that? A little better?
Well, you're still very quiet. I can hear you, but you're quiet.
How about that?
Getting better.
Okay.
Can you get louder?
Yes, well, I'll scream.
Oh, no, there you go. No, that's better.
Oh, okay.
What's going on?
Oh, well, I've been playing this new release of yours, the first studio release in about 4 years. Is that right?
Yeah, it's been quite a while, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Time flies. Yeah.
Well, you know, I'm reading the page here, and it's telling me 5,000 concerts, and you know, the Fillmore East, and I was fortunate enough to be there. And the part that strikes me about all that is having seen you often the last, you know, few years, and just recently Saturday up in Chester, New York, how you keep looking younger and I keep looking older. Well, what's that all about, Kim? Is it the water in the Catskills or what?
I don't know. It must be some something in the genes there. No, I don't know. I enjoy what I'm doing, but you know, on stage, perhaps you know, just I'm enthusiastic, and perhaps the years drop off you when you're in that, you know, when you're in that kind of frame of mind. But when I wake up in the morning, I feel my age. Believe me.
You're playing better than ever, Kim. Really nice album here. 10 tracks, all original. All except for one, Meat Shaking Woman, a Blind Boy Fuller cover, and one you co-wrote with Jerry, the bass player.
Right. Yeah, Jerry's doing some writing now, and he has a little home studio that, and you know, he has some nice influences that he brings in, because he's into rhythm and blues a lot, and you know, it's good when people have different tastes and stuff, because they bring in, you know, different chord changes and approaches and things. And if I can take that and integrate it into the music, then I like to do it. Yeah.
Well, one thing I noticed was speaking with Kim Simmonds of Savoy Brown was how comfortable this band is up there with the just a solid rhythm section. Dennis Cotton, Jerry Sorrentino, and you and Dave Malachowski just banging away on those guitars. That Street Corner Talking just blew me away Saturday night. You guys were just on fire.
Yeah, it's a fun group. You know, we get along as people, and you know, it's we enjoy each other's company. You know, they're committed to the music. I'm very blessed, really. You know, you keep working at it, and you keep. You know, I've kept the band on the road all these years, and you know, some bands are better than others, and some people you work with are better than others, and but you just keep going, and you have highs and lows. It can't always stay the same, and but this particular lineup, you know, is one of the highs, I think, and I hope that you know, everybody can continue to enjoy it, and that the lineup stays together for a few years. So
well, it's been about 2 years for this lineup, right?
Actually, it has. It's almost, you know, it has almost been 2 years, and that's kind of what it takes, you know, to get from the point where you put a lineup together to the point where you have a record release. It's almost a 2-year cycle, you know, where because you know, the people that come into the band bring in influences, and I have to sort of marshal it all together and see how it's going to make sense with a record. You know, you can't just go into this. That's what takes so long, I think, with the records. You can't, you know, you know, this particular lineup looks fairly steady, and I'm already writing for the next record. So if I can keep this lineup together, then making another record would be fairly easy. But if somebody would happen to leave this lineup, and I brought in a new drummer or something, then the whole feel would change, and that person brings in a slightly different style, and then I have to sort of integrate that person. It takes a long time to do that, and to find out how best the band sounds, because it is a band, and it's not just myself.
Well, you're starting a tour, and Saturday night you let out some very exciting news for anybody who's a longtime Savoy Brown fan, or anybody who's just turning on to the band, is that you're going over to England, and you might possibly hook up with an old writing and band partner of yours, Chris Yulden.
Well, it has been mentioned that I don't stay in touch with Chris. We haven't stayed in touch with each other, so I don't know. But I know that there's a couple of possible festivals we're doing over there, and the third festival is I think in the London area. So the promoter mentioned possibly having Chris come along to jam. I said, well, that would be great, if he's up for it. But there's so much water under the bridge. I don't know if Chris will be up for it.
Yeah.
But if he is, I'm only too happy to have him come along and do some songs and see how he's doing nowadays. Yeah. So, and I was hoping actually to get Chris and the old band back together for some dates a couple of years ago, just prior to Lonesome Dave dying. Lonesome Dave, who led Fogat,
right,
was in Savoy Brown, and he was part of the group that first came over to the United States when Chris Yulden was the singer. And
first band I saw.
What's that?
The first version of your band I saw at the Fillmore.
That's probably the
December
version that everybody.
70.
That was the first band that came here. Yeah, and. Anyway, I tried to get. I thought it'd be a good idea to, maybe do some reunion dates at that point, which I think would have been very good. Dave had been ill, but I just couldn't. I couldn't pull everybody together to do it. Although, I think I hadn't heard from Chris, but everybody else was up for it. Of course, now Dave has died, so a reunion doesn't make any sense. But certainly, I'd love to have Chris do some dates, because I think more than anything, it would be fun for the fans, and. It would certainly bring back some memories for everybody, and I'm sure Chris and myself would have a lot of fun as well.
I was lucky enough to be at the bottom line when Tony Stevens and Roger Earl joined you for a few songs 2 years ago.
Oh, that was fun.
Oh, that was great, Kim.
Yeah, it's amazing, how the years drop off, and it's, there was a great chemistry between the guys back then, and I thought that sort of chemistry was still there at the bottom line, and so it's fun, but everybody moves on, and it's like, love's in the past, you still have feelings for one another, but,
I saw that. I could definitely see that. Yeah.
But everybody moves on, and, you move on, and you live in another incarnation, everybody, and that's the thing, you cannot, it was fun for a night to play with
right.
Roger and Tony. I'm sure they would have said the same thing, but, everybody's got their own thing, and we all move on, and certainly those things it would be nice to do every now and then, and maybe if Chris is around in London and we do that, it would be a similar feeling, where we can at least for a night have a lot of fun.
Well, speaking with Kim Simmonds of Savoy Brown. Now, Kim, you're starting out a tour, and I noticed down in Virginia, speaking of Foghat, that Rod Price is opening up for you in Jack's in Virginia.
Well, actually, yeah, it was a Rod Price show. Actually, he was already contracted to do that show, and we were coming down that way. And so the promoter said, "Why don't you go on the same night as Rod?" I said, "That'd be fabulous." So, we really were added to his show, so I'm looking forward to it. I think Rod's looking forward to it, and I hope we get a chance to play together. And I think we respect each other's playing, and over the years I've got to know each other a bit, and I knew Rod way back in the '60s, when he used to come and see Savoy Brown when we first started playing on the blues scene, and and I've always admired his play, and I'm looking forward to it. I think that's one of those things where, again, it's going to be a sort of a blast for any of the for fans, who know
boy.
all about the past,
Big time. Rod's a real gentleman. He was a guest on my show last month, and can't say anything but nice things about that man.
He's wonderful.
He's a wonderful
Good guy.
man. Now, also out west, I see you hooking up with Wishbone Ash.
Yes, we Wishbone Ash. We did some dates last year together, 2 or 3 dates down south. We did Atlanta and a couple of Florida dates, and they were really successful. And they're an excellent band, very similar.
Flying V's, huh?
What's that?
A lot of flying V's.
Yeah, it's very similar similarities, isn't it? Andy Powell, the lead guitar player, uses a V. He runs the band. A lot of parallels between him and myself, and the band is absolutely excellent. And they're trying to establish themselves more in this country. They're very popular in Europe still, and that's really what I think they've concentrated on over the years. And so yeah, we're doing some dates together, and I think it's a wonderful bill. It's an exciting 2 bands. 2 bands that people might remember from the past. But I think both bands are, making new music and probably as exciting today as they were back then. I mean, I feel that way looking at Andy and Wishbone Ash. They look and sound great, and
as do you.
Oh, thank you.
The tour that you have is kind of going all the way down around the south and up to the northwest, and you're going to end up back in this neck of the woods in May.
Right.
And there's a couple of to-be-announced tour gigs in the area, and perhaps some festivals, I hope.
Yeah. There's we're putting it all together now. I think the festival season is. I think the gigs start to be put into place around about now, really, next few weeks. So we'll come back to the city, probably play the Bottom Line, and that's always a fun place. I've played, right from 20, 30 years ago, actually.
Wow.
So I like coming back there because Alan Pepper, the owner, is somebody I've known for years, and
nice man.
I just feel I feel comfortable there. It's a club that survived all the decades, and I've survived all the decades, and so it's kind of nice to play there. I feel at home.
Well, I see that looking at your gig list that you're always very loyal to your clubs and places, and you're selling out everywhere you're going, which is not a coincidence. And the thing that I like is being able to track you on your website there. You're pretty current with that. Though I hope you write a letter before you take off this time, Kim.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'd completely forgotten it. I've got to do that before I leave for the tour. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you also. This is something that I always ask you when I talk to you is about your what you're listening to. I noticed last time I was talking to you, you were talking about Charlie Musselwhite.
Right.
And this past Saturday night, you whipped out a harmonica and just did a wonderful job on Wang Dang Doodle there. That was really cool. That came out of nowhere. I didn't expect that. So what's going on now? What are you listening to these days?
Oh, let me think for a moment. It's always difficult when someone asks you that because your mind goes immediately blank.
Well, you always mention something on your website, like I mentioned you turned me on to Tony Joe White, and then the Don, somebody else turned me on to the Don Covey, because you were actually on that, but it's... there's
a lot of, I did buy a friend of mine for Christmas. I bought him the JimmySmith.com record,
good one,
and he said it's fantastic, so I know I've got to pick that up and listen to it myself. For a moment, not so much what I'm listening to, but what I want to buy. I want to buy the Jimmy Smith record, and that's been out a couple of years now. It's called .com. I want to buy the new Solomon Burke record, where he covers the Bob Dylan, where he does a new Bob Dylan song, a few other new songs. I've been told that's good. So there's, the stuff I listen to is still the old school things that I enjoy listening to. My influences are still, the John Lee Hookers of the world. I will, let me see what I've particularly been listening to.
On Shake It All Night, there's a very strong John Lee Hooker sound to that on the new CD.
That's what the guys in the band said, and
I love it.
I wasn't necessarily thinking of John Lee Hooker with that song. I think when it came out, I was just thinking of doing a primitive type of thing, and I like a lot of the Fat Possum stuff. You know what I mean? It's very primitive, and it's not your typical sort of your typical blues. So I had been listening to a lot of the Fat Possum's releases, and I think that inspired the Shake It All Night. And I think that a lot of the Fat Possum artists are influenced by Hooker anyway, you know, and they've got that primitive style, and no one did it better than Johnny Hooker. So, but, you know, I try to stay abreast of things as well. You know, I try to listen to some of the newer bands that are out there, and, you know, keep my ear to the pavement. And you there?
Yes.
You know, and sort of listen to everything. I like that John Hammond record where he covers the Tom Waits songs.
Right.
You know, I think that's a very successful record for him. And
you know, I've always wanted to ask you this. I've read this about you, and I've never got a chance to ask you about this, but you had jammed with Hendrix. Where was that?
That was in Los Angeles. Got a club in Los Angeles, and we were all in the audience. If I recall, it was there was a bunch of us in the crowd. It just, you know, it was a small.
The Roxy,
it was a small
or
club
something?
where you just hung out and had a drink, and nobody bothered you, you know. And there was a band playing, and I got on stage, Jimmy got on stage, and Eric Burden. So we were all sort of jamming together. It was a lot of fun, and it was. Then afterwards, you know, I spent the evening talking to Jimmy. It was a blast, and
Wow.
really the only time I'd met him in that kind of relaxed atmosphere. I don't think I'd met him ever before that, so or after that, and so I was just like everybody else, you know, watching him from afar. I'd heard he'd said some nice things about my guitar playing, which was nice, you know,
Yeah.
but
High
you
praise.
know, it was I had seen him. You know, a couple of times in small clubs, and that was about it. Later on, I saw him in a small club in New York City, and that was fun. But otherwise, yeah, that was my brush with Jimmy, and it was very, very pleasant memory. Because very humble guy, and I think that was my memory of him, and that's my memory really of the whole time period back then. You know, people just seem much more humbler than they are today. So. But there again, you know, it was love and peace back then, and people did try to be less egoed out.
Well, one other thing I wanted to mention to you was, you were friends with John Lee Hooker, and when I saw you in the Bottom Line a few years ago, his daughter had opened up for you. Was that just a coincidence, or that was very moving that night? Because she was talking about her father a lot. He had just passed away maybe a month before.
Yes. Well, I think that she was on tour at the time, and it was brought up to me, you know, how about having her on the bill? And I said, well, that would be wonderful. And it was
cool.
It passed over to her, and she was up for it because she recalled, of course, the connection and how fondly I think John Lee Hooker felt about Savoy Brown, and would often play Savoy Brown CDs on his CD player. So
he had
the early ones.
He had getting to the point in his car. You said
that's what one of his musicians told me when he was picked up at the airport. So I was thrilled to hear that.
Yes.
And for one thing, it shows that John would listen to a variety of bands, and I think. You know, we had gone back to 1967 when he did one of his tours in England, and Savoy Brown backed him on the tour, and you know, it was a lot of fun. I think we did sometimes we did three gigs in a day.
Wow!
And I recall my brother, who was managing me at the time and booking the tour, had said to John Lee Hooker, right, look, I'm sort of almost apologetically, sorry about this, but, you know, some of the days we played 3 gigs a day. And John laughed and said, hey, it's nothing. I used to play 9 shows a day back in the 50s in Detroit. So can you imagine 9 shows? And that, you know, that's the old house parties and that. So 3 days for John was nothing. So
well, you guys did 2 hours plus Saturday night. That's a pretty healthy show there.
It is, you know. It doesn't. It's fun, you know. It doesn't seem that exhausting at all, you know. When you're playing, it is getting exhausting for me. And when I think back in the old days, you used to, especially, unless you were the headliner at the Film Maurice or something, you just played 45 minutes, you know what I mean? And
twice a night, though.
But it was twice a night, yeah, that's true. And then if you were the headliner, of course, then you've got to play as long as you wanted to play. But
the sun was coming up many a morning coming out of there.
That's exactly it. I remember those days well. But,
Kim, you're an absolute gentleman. I appreciate it so much. You don't know how cool this is for me to have your album a week ahead of time.
I
and
know.
have you on to just, I could talk to you all night, and I know you're a busy man, and it speaks a lot of your character that you would take time out to speak to us over
Not
here.
at all. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you being there, and I'm glad that I'm glad you're the first person that I got to speak about on the radio about the record. So
well, it's a winner, and
I'm
it's
happy.
Blind Pig Records, Strange Dream it's called.
Right.
And I can't wait for you to come back to these parts. Actually,
Right.
you're in the Ram's Head Inn this week in Maryland.
Ram's Head, yeah, in Maryland, yeah.
And then that gig at Jack's. Well, SavoyBrown.com would be the way to find it out. And again, say hello to all those gentlemen in the band, all good friends, and best of luck to you, Kim.
Thanks, Greg. Talk to you later then.
Kim Simmonds of Savoy Brown, and we're going to hear another cut off his new CD, Strange Dream, and this is Pain of Love from the upcoming release of Savoy Brown.
Looking in the eyes of everyone I meet. When I see you, girl, will I know your name? Will this pain of love ever go away? You will see me staring out to sea, all alone, I don't need company, just looking for a sail that might come my way, and this pain of love will go away. Pain of love all around my heart. Pain of love never gonna come. Find me on the corner of the street, looking in the eyes of everyone I meet. When I see a girl, will I know your name? And will this pain of love ever go away? Pain of love all around my heart. Pain of love never gonna come. Pain of love, pain of love.
You're tuned in to WNTI Hackettstown. My name is Greg. The show is Rocket Science, and I'm filling in for Paula Dyer, woman. I drew a blank. Bad women never sing the blues. I probably botched it, but in any case, she's not here. And later on, Todd Ellis, who does Sounds of Cool, will not be in, but the very deep bench of WNTI is pulling out their ace utility man off the bench, JB. So, well worth sticking around for that. Todd Mills is up next. And thank you for those kind phone calls, and thank you so much, Kim Simmonds. We're previewing his Savoy Brown's upcoming release, Strange Dream, and what we just heard was Pain of Love, and we're going to hear a few more. This is Hard Time Believing in You from the upcoming Strange Dream release, Savoy Brown's.
Well, you just don't tell. I believe that you grew up and you don't be no fool. I'm having a hard time believing in you. For what you can't see, and love will take you where you want to be. I believe you can make it, and you're never through. I'm having a hard time believing in you. myself a ride. I was out on the street watching the eagle fly. I saw the preacher shout and raise his hands to the sky. I saw the preacher shout, raise his hands to the sky. And a real fine woman took my hand and said hi. The world was gonna end. A man on the corner said the world was gonna end. I understand now, baby, what he meant. Guitar playing a slow and soulful blues. I heard a guitar playing a slow and soulful blues. Maybe realize now, baby, that I still love you. I wonder what is up, what's going on around here. The sky's broken and it's crying tears. It's time to worry when the dice start to roll. Got to hold on, I can't let you go. The Jack of Hearts and the Queen of Spades, they left a note, checked out yesterday. Seems in the end they ran out of dough. I got to hold on, I can't let you go. The hotel clerk holds the bill in his hand and wants the key, but he doesn't understand what went wrong and all there is to know. I got to hold on, I can't let you go. I wonder what is up, what's going wrong around here. The sky is broken and it's crying tears. It's time to worry when the dice start to roll. I got to hold on, I can't let it go. I got to hold on, I can't let you go. I got to hold on, I can't let you go. I can't let you go. I got to hold on, baby. Gotta hold on, can't let you go. I gotta hold on, baby, I can't let you go. Got to hold on, got to hold on. I can't let you go, I can't let you go.
That was Can't Let You Go from Savoy Brown's upcoming release, Strange Dream. My name's Greg. The show's been Rocket Science, sitting in for Paula Dyer. And in the studio is the legendary Todd Mills, who will be following me shortly. And we'll go out with the title cut of the upcoming album, Strange Dream, from Savoy Brown on Blind Pig Records, due out a week from today. And a big tip of the hat to Kim Simmonds for spending time with us today. Big personal thrill for me. So, probably won't have time to complete this whole song, but a little taste will do you here. This is Strange Dream, the title cut. And I won't be here Thursday. I'll be here the following Thursday. Ron Alden will be sitting in for me. So until then, ciao.
I had a strange dream last night, one I'd never had before. I could see a black cloud rolling in my door. I saw lightning strike, I saw a willow tree fall, I heard the crack of thunder, I heard my baby call. It was a strange dream. It was a strange dream. It was a strange dream. One I don't want no more. I saw a full moon in the sky, I heard a black cat moan, I heard my baby cry. It was a strange dream. It was a strange dream. It was a strange dream. When I don't want no more.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Corey Flintoff. President Bush